Namaskara everyone. Welcome to Bhoomi webinar, which is on all schools can, all schools for climate action and nature. So this is a preview, first of the two webinars that we have planned as a preview to the launch of the All Schools Can Alliance that is going to happen on 23rd of January at Bangalore International Center from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. So we are setting through these two webinars, we're trying to set the context for the need and the importance of a nationwide alliance of schools which can work towards climate action and nature education. And very happy to have Seetha and Rema join us today for the webinar. Seetha, I think many of you know Seetha, but just to sort of reiterate, Seetha is the founder trustee of KNA Foundation for Education and founder of Prakriya School, Bhoomi Network, and Bhoomi College as well. We also have Rema with us, trustee at KNA Foundation for Education and former director at Prakriya and Bhoomi College. So thank you, Seetha and Rema, for joining us today. And yeah, I think as much as everybody out there, I am myself looking forward to this webinar and trying to understand the need for not just climate education in some sense, but also climate edu action. How does some of this education on nature result in action towards what is happening in communities, ecologies around us, and the larger world and the planet? So really looking forward to the discussion as well. Just to tell all the participants that we will, this is a 1 hour webinar where we'll take 2 breaks. So we'll have about 20 minutes of presentation and discussion. We'll have maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes of Q&A, and then again another presentation that will last for 20 minutes. And then in the end, we would love to hear from all of you what you think of the idea of this alliance, and maybe how you wish to participate and engage with the alliance. So yes, over to you, Seetha.
Yeah. So thank you all for coming. I'm really happy that we have been finally able to get started with this way of connecting with a whole lot of people, schools, teachers, people from NGOs and others. And, for a cause that is at one level seems, absolutely necessary. Everybody would agree that seeing what's happening in the world today, that education about nature and climate change is necessary for everyone, not just children in schools or teachers and so on. And we feel that this is not something that, many of us, many NGO, many of you from NGOs or schools, you might already be doing something valuable for children to understand nature or sustainability. But there's always more that all of us need to learn. And we feel that what we are really working on is a dream that is often not really articulated or shared. I think many of us have that dream at the back of our minds that it'll be great if children get to be more in nature, to get closer to nature. It will be great if the whole world tries to get involved with climate action or climate edu action, as Adil said. But when we start, we feel that it's not only us from Bhoomi Network to work on this. We need, for this dream of getting children connected with nature, as well as understanding the larger picture of climate change and climate action, we need many, many thousands and millions of people involved. And therefore, this particular work, a particular process of working with an alliance of schools and teachers and others will be, we feel, will need some different kind of stakeholders. Many stakeholders, but they come under 4 categories as we understand it, and maybe more will join in. We may have to create more kinds of stakeholders as we go along, maybe parents, maybe children themselves, and so on. So we will just share with you what our understanding, the way we are starting off this work of bringing people together, networking, and finding ways of sharing and learning together. So, Adil, can we have the, yeah. So schools for the future is what we are talking about, because we feel right now there are only 2 countries, Italy and Mexico, which have made climate change compulsory education. But we feel every school in the world needs to be there. And hence we are talking about schools for the future. Yeah. Adil, next one. This is the dream that I was talking about. I'm sure many of you, all of you are here because you have this dream also. Yeah. So I talked about 4 kinds of stakeholders. One is this alliance of schools. We're calling it All Schools Can. Can, of course, stands for climate action and nature. And we feel schools are very important nodal points. They can create a lot more multiplier effect than only individuals working. And we feel when schools, right now, more or less, schools are working in silos. They have a board, ICSE, CBSE, SSLC, etc., looking after the whole system, dictating what has to be done. But across schools, the networking of schools for anything important and valuable like this is happening very little. So we feel that we must find ways of bringing people together, be it through, we'll explain what are the other stakeholders' roles of bringing this together. But schools too need to form an alliance, need to look at what they can do. And some of the things we are talking about, we'll go into the details later. But basically, I think everybody would agree that schools can be very important stakeholders in this whole process. Yeah, so that is one thing. And Rama, would you like to talk about the next part of it? It's gone.
Rama, you're on mute, Rama. You need to unmute yourself.
Sorry.
Yes, and
sorry, everyone.
No, it's all right.
Namaskara. So the second stakeholder that we thought is important in taking this alliance forward is a fellowship which Bhoomi will offer, which we are calling Teach for Nature Fellowship. Because we feel that for many schools, it may be important to get support in terms of, a person who could work with the schools to put into practice the CAN learning processes, the climate action and nature processes. And we also feel that there may be many individuals who are interested to do this, to work with schools, work alongside schools. And we feel Bhoomi is in that spot that we can offer this fellowship, because we've had other fellowships that Bhoomi has run. So this is something that we can offer to support schools to take this learning process of climate action in nature rigorously. The other stakeholder that we feel is, we know that there are multiple NGOs working with sustainability, climate action, nature connects. So that those people from those NGOs or those NGOs coming together would also be a good way to, to coordinate resources and learn and share with each other. So that's what we think. Of course, the networking with different NGOs we still have to work at, but this is what the plan is as of now.
Yeah, okay. And the third set of stakeholders we feel can be very valuable are resource persons everywhere. Very often, the resource persons don't have to be the greatest experts. There could be parents in the school, there could be others living near the school who can really contribute to the nature of work. And especially because we are saying this kind of work needs to be more experiential and it cannot be just from books. So people who are pioneers in various areas, be it, it's not the kind of work we need to do is not rocket science. It could be rainwater harvesting, it could be how to create a zero waste school, or so many things which children need to learn by actually doing. And so resource persons, as well as such many kind of resources that are offered through a website. And we feel the website should be something where all schools can contribute, because a lot of schools are doing very interesting work. Ultimately for a teacher, lesson plans help. So people can put up their interesting lesson plans, people can share a lot. And we feel that in some ways, the schools have also, gotten caught up with a kind of competition. And therefore, the sharing between schools has reduced a lot. But I think in this areas, not only is competition irrelevant, it's non-natural, nature cooperates a lot more, but also in this area, schools may be willing to share and share and exchange and, contribute to the website, etc. Because it's going to be, it's something that can make them feel that they are part of the solution. So that's the third set of, stakeholders.
Starting, we have looked at these four. The fourth one is the steering committee of schools and Bhoomi network. They would, so the steering committee, we are visualizing interested schools who would join in to be part of the steering committee. Right now, we have about 4 to 5 schools who have agreed to be part of the steering committee and Bhoomi network. Together, we would be like the catalyst to take this alliance forward. The direction is clear, but also to look at, you know, milestones, to take stock, to review, to come together, share ideas, exchange, and see what are the gaps that needs to be addressed, or what is working well, and so on and so forth. So the responsibility of holding the thread would rest with the steering committee and Bhoomi network. And we are hoping that in time more schools will move from being members of the alliance to becoming part of the steering committee. So it's the responsibility is co-held by the group.
Yeah. See, ideally, in a country like India, if our dream comes true, and even if we don't cover all the schools, more and more schools are covered in every state. Every state will need a steering committee, So, and we are finding, not surprisingly, but, we were quite delighted that quite a large number of people have signed up for our inaugural session. And most of the people we have talked to in schools, they are interested. So perhaps this is an idea that whose time has come, that that people are realizing that we need to, the schools need to participate, individuals need to participate um, in making changes in the nature of education that our children are getting. Yeah. So, Adil, next one. This is just a little bit more about the four stakeholders. So,
just as a visual input, we talked about it, but for people to just read and absorb.
Yeah. Shall we have a break now for any questions?
So we had initially said we'll do it after the 6th slide, Seetha. Because we'll talk about the fellowship as well.
We could go over, but I thought it's
yeah,
we can do that as well. We can ask people.
Yeah, how where they are. Just a few people to contribute to.
Sure.
Let's move away from a little bit of screen time and see each other on the screens.
Sure. So I will stop sharing the PPT, and what we can do is people can write it in the chat box or quickly unmute themselves and share as to why they think that climate action in nature education needs to be mandatory, or why we need an alliance. I think we have Deepak Baswaraj who's raised his hand. Deepak, you can go ahead and share.
Namaste to all of you, and I represent a for-profit regenerative consultant team called Ingala, which means carbon in Kannada. So people who don't know, I mean Kannada. So we have worked with schools and colleges. So mostly you're mentioning NGO and that sort of thing. So which ideally I feel that any speaker or anybody going as a resource person will be paid or not. So that's my question. So let me finish my whole this thing. So
Deepak,
yeah,
just
we have been called to NITTE, we have gone to Cambridge School, we have gone to Sri Ravi Shankar. All these are private schools, which will anyways charge the children to do whatever activity. So my question is, we are like when I say for profit, that's where I earn my bread and butter from. Working with nature, working with designing farms, doing workshops. So all these things. So, but of course, for every four schools which I charge, I go to a government school and I do it without cost, or we identify ourselves and we go and do that. So where do people like us fit in? Yes, my team is a resource team for soil regeneration, agroforestry, waste management, or a lot of these things, rainwater harvesting. We make models, show children how it can be done in a very small scale, how they can do it in their own garden, how they can regenerate soils in their own balcony in an apartment also, like, by infusing carbon into pots, and how to save water. All these things we have been doing. So where do people like us fit in if we want to be part of the, alliance? So that's my question.
Yeah, it's great to hear that people like you, many individuals are doing such things in different places. In this kind of work, what we are imagining is not that Bhoomi network or the steering committee will be involved in directly, taking in the services of that people like you offer. Instead, it would be that you can be part of the resource hub. We will be listed as one of the NGOs doing this work, and maybe basic details will be given, the NGOs who charge and those who don't charge, etc. And schools may be free to call you. So every aspect of the work done in schools, I mean, we have a huge number of schools. I think in Bangalore only we have more than 5,000 schools and so on. And in the country, we have 14 lakhs. I'm not saying that we can reach so many. So it doesn't make sense for any steering committee or organization to, to involve themselves in work like this. I mean, in seeing that who goes to which school or anything like that. But instead, schools can, that's what this resource hub will be all about. So we do not directly, involve ourselves in recruiting the services that people like you offer. And I agree there will be all kinds, some who will be for-profit, some who will not be for-profit, and so on. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, to a great extent, ma'am. And one more thing, observation I have, I have spoken to so many schools, the bigger and the private. I mean, I am sorry if there are people here but that's my learning. So many a times we felt that they were doing it because they have to do it. You know what I mean? So it's like, yes, they have to be a green school. Kind of, it's not from like within. I know it is too much to expect, but then these are our observations. But the smaller the school or government school, because anyways people are ready to come and work with them, they're okay with it because they want their children to learn more. And we found more of a, I mean a positive response. So the bigger the school, they were like, even when we are sitting there, they're like contemplating, should we do this, should we not do this, we are supposed to be called a green school. So those kind of conversations. So I'm hopeful that this alliance will bring in, a little bit of stability to those things and really make the schools understand that it is critical to be a nature school, to be a greener school, moving, because we already eaten up the resources of our next generations as well. So we might as well go green in that way. So that's just my observation, and I wanted to share.
See, this is like the work we are doing is like being part of a very large movement, worldwide movement. And as you know, in all movements, the startup is always slow. It's not every school or every human being who is totally convinced and wants to do it. So you'll have a variety of schools and variety of individuals, the way they respond to this issue, whether they consider themselves, responsible, and whether they wish to do something. I mean, it's very, very mixed group. And what we are trying to do is continue to sometimes throw seeds which will fly in the wind. Only where the soil is ready, those seeds will fall and take root. We cannot guarantee anything. But we decided as a group that we will continue to, do whatever we can. We hope to have annual conferences, and we hope to do more writing, bring out more content, not only to put it on the website, but in other ways. So over a period of time, we feel the buzz will increase. And hopefully more and more, not only schools, but children, parents' demand also will make the school change. All those kind of things will happen is a hope that we are working with. But I really feel there's no point in cribbing about those who are not with it in a big way. We'll just continue to work with those who are with it, and maybe over a period of time, more and more will join.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah.
Narmada, I think, had a question. Narmada, would you like to go ahead and...
Yeah. Morning, everyone. So I just had a basic question. It's more like, who qualifies to become a TFN fellow? Who can apply for the program is what I want to know. As a common man, I'm just very concerned about what's happening around the world. And in the smallest possible way, just try to contribute whatever I can. So if I want to be part of this movement, So where can I start is my question.
So I think we
Rama,
have
shall
a
we
slide.
go to the slide, the next slide, when we talk about it?
We'll answer that question.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. So, shall we move on? Yeah. So we are back again to looking at the first set of stakeholders, which is the schools. And schools, I mean, as we all know, we've all been through schools, our children go to schools and so on. They're very much textbook oriented, and it's a matter of studying what is in the syllabus and writing exams and getting marks and so on. This will be very different kind of learning. And, you know, in a school, whether you have chemistry or physics or whatever, you have labs, if labs are needed to help children learn. Now, similarly, nature and climate action is something which cannot be learned just through textbooks. If not a lab, you need certain infrastructure. And really, this is a famous line by, I think, Malcolm McLuhan. The medium is the message. Now you keep saying things from textbooks, sharing textbooks and making children do exams from that, and you don't follow anything that is said. The message that children will get is it's not important. So the medium is a message really is a very important thing here, that a school has to act out what their beliefs. So belief that, and they need these kind of belief that education for climate change and climate action and nature is important. They need to be willing to share and collaborate with other schools, NGOs, resource person, because that is a major way of imitating nature, of being collaborative, being cooperative, and so on. You know, nature is not working in silos. No ecosystem can be an ecosystem if there is so much of separateness within it. So we feel this is something we should try and do. And probably it's a good thing that it's not a subject with marks and so on. So the whole idea of competition may get knocked down. And then the third part is of, unless a school is consistent and looks at it long term, again, the message given to children is it's okay to be a tokenism. So at least 1 or 2 classes of sessions for this whole CAN project, you know, climate action and nature. It can be handled by one of their own teachers, or where the schools are finding it difficult, we feel that we can try and place Teach for Nature fellows who will be trained by us to take 1 or 2 classes. It need not be all the classes across the school. It may be 7th standard and 5th standard or some such thing. And whichever way a school starts, because we do know that schools find it very difficult to change drastically. And unless the government brings in some, you know, some order by which something has to be done, even that often gets flouted. So that is one thing. And the last thing is what I talked about is infrastructure support. Whether the school says, okay, we'll be a zero-waste school. Now, zero-waste schools means there are so many things to be done by classes, by teachers, by, you know, the support staff, and so on. It's not actually very difficult, but it may seem difficult, and schools may not get, it's much easier to collect all the rubbish and give it to BBMP. But what is zero waste? To help children understand, you need to live it out. Similarly, organic gardening, water recycling, at least 1 or more of these, if a school starts and over a period of time tries to support more, give more and more infrastructure, children can learn directly from that. They can learn by recharging, I mean, looking at how to maintain the batteries. They can learn in the organic garden. And all this learning we have found from our experience in Prakriya school, that it actually helps children become more, you know, more active, more lively, more interested in many of the things we do. So this is, I don't believe that this takes away time from studies. In fact, it helps their ability to study a lot more. So this is what it is. We need to walk or talk. And for that, we need management support, we need infrastructure, and we need learning processes. So all these things have to get started. It's not a matter of a school, what do you call it, employing some resource person or NGO and say, you do this and walking out. Schools that sign up for all schools can need a little greater commitment and belief in what we are doing. Yeah, that's about it. We'll come back and take questions on each of these 4 stakeholders later. Yeah.
Yeah, so the fellowship, how we are envisioning. So I'd like to answer Narmada's question first. It's open to anybody, any individual who's interested. I'm imagining that, even for the Bhoomi Fellowship, we had that the person applying for the fellowship needs to be a graduate. And there's no age bar really, but of course we can't take on senior citizens because I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe some of them will have the energy to work as well. But right now we are looking at young people and young at heart, but not in the senior citizens category. They will need to sign up for a 2-year period to work in a school. That is a mandate from our side, because otherwise it really doesn't take shape, because you need to have that kind of consistent working in the school for anything to take root and shape. Um, they'll the fellows will need to go through a 2-month training program at the Bhoomi campus. They will be supported with a kit, with lesson plans, projects, videos, articles, so on and so forth. Um, we also will be offering mentoring and on-the-job training on Saturdays. Also, space for the fellows to come together and have discussions, because we found that is a very, very enriching way of learning. For the member schools, what we are uh, proposing as of now is, once they agree to be part of the alliance, um, the Teach for Nature fellows begin work at the school. This is what we are envisioning right now. We still need to um, maybe work out some more details. As of now, this is what we are looking at, and maybe with the steering committee, we'll go through another set of discussions to fine tune some of these points. Anything you wish to add, Seetha?
No, I'm okay. We'll carry on. We'll take questions later.
Yeah. Adil, the next slide.
Yeah, so this is the resource hub we spoke about. As we all know that, any kind of education, certain kinds of resources will help a teacher. Very often it's a textbook and a syllabus given by the board, or sometimes, schools themselves create their own syllabus in a few cases. So here too we need, but what is different about this and about, say, learning chemistry in class 5 or 7 or 6, let's say, in any kind of a board, is that what is learned can be very fixed. The same set of things can be learned throughout, the country in all ICSE schools, kind of a thing. But here, that kind of making things absolutely uniform and regimented will not work. It's much, much better that, that schools learn from people, with resource people within the school, near the school, and also through activities that can happen. If there is a lake near the school, what can the children do with the lake? or if there are, if it's a school with space for, say they have a great front garden, they can convert it instead into an organic garden. But there might be schools which don't have that. Some of them may be willing to have a terrace garden, some won't even be willing to do that. So it's okay. There'll be multiple kinds of ways in which each school needs to be supported to create their syllabus for a particular class. So when the school signs up for this, all the all the schools will be also listed in the resource hub for people to see who else is a school that's part of this All Schools Can Alliance, and they can be in touch with each other, learn from each other, and so on, and even have some combined programs and so on. Then the spaces for showcasing work done by schools, we feel the work done, the stories that emerge from every school can be very inspirational for other schools. Ideas, after all, it's very rarely or almost never that an idea is totally original. We learn from many other people. We learn in many different ways. And we feel, this networking between schools will help, and the resource hub can support that. And as we said earlier also, a teacher's work involves getting lesson plans. And today, many schools can have videos, but perhaps where they don't, we can try in the future to see that every school has some video, has a projector to show children, because the nature of the work nature of what can be studied is so immense. To learn something more about the earth, or more about what's happening in the Arctic or anywhere else in the world, it's much, much easier to show videos. And children also today, it's very sad that they're learning more about climate action or sustainability from social media than from schools. I think schools are really lagging behind. So the problem with that is some children are quite, able to learn from various sources. They have the resources at home, but some children don't. So here we try to help all children learn about important things to understand about nature and climate change. So project ideas and many other things. And these resources can be useful for the TFN fellows, as well as to school teachers, as well as to children, parents, anybody. We have started this work. In many ways, Bhoomi has done a lot of work for the Bhoomi magazine. But on top of that, we need to share the work currently being done by different schools. Like we had, I think in the beginning, Deepak talk about his work in schools to help children understand what is, biodiverse agriculture or soil, how to improve the soil, the importance of soil. So these kind of things, a few schools may not really be aware of, or if they are aware, they don't think it's their concern. So it can be very inspiring to others to have these stories put up on the website. And supporting networking exchange programs between schools. We feel this is a lovely way to connect and learn from each other. And schools generally tend to remain in a cocoon, within their silo. If we can break that a little, I think there's a lot more interesting work that can be done over a period of time. Yeah.
So the steering committee and Bhoomi network, like I spoke earlier, would be like the catalyst for action, for discussion, sharing, and basically co-holding this alliance. It is serious work, but from our experience in Bhoomi and Prakriya, it can be done with a lot of joyousness, because climate change and all that is talked about can also make many of us feel overwhelmed and anxious, and we hear about a lot of children feeling that as well. So if the serious matter is handled with also deeper connecting with nature and feeling that joyousness from that, it can really enable all of us to work with more lightness. So the steering committee and Bhoomi network will hold the threads further. They will be the nodal points. And we are starting off with a few who have, like Seetha said, shown interest. We are hoping that the 24th launch meeting, there'll be more schools who will come forward and join the alliance. The steering committee and Bhoomi network, one of the agenda would also be to encourage more and more schools to join so that this becomes a movement of a kind. Um, so as of now, we've said we will meet at least once a quarter, maybe more. We'll have to see as things take shape to finalize our plans, our milestones, and as the things take shape, there will be other issues to work with. So all of that will be the steering committee and Bhoomi Networks um, work, basically.
Yeah, Rama spoke mostly about the work of the steering committee, and Bhoomi Network, as which she also touched upon, we are looking at some group. Somebody has to set the ball rolling and try to do things to keep up the momentum of work, bring in ideas, bring people together, and so on. So we feel that is something Bhoomi Network has been doing over a period of time through our conferences, through the fellow programs we've had, and also through various workshops and so on. So here too, we feel that we can try and offer some consultancy, meaning I'm calling it consultancy, but very often it can be very short meetings. It can be, I think there is a lot of knowledge and understanding and a lot of intelligence in the way of approaching working with children in every school. There's some or the other, So we don't need to go into the details of what to do, but just, as we said, trying to put people onto resources, giving examples, and so on. So Bhoomi Network itself becomes a hub, one of the, one part of the resource hub, doing workshops, training of Teach for Nature fellows. This will be a much shorter training, as we said, 2 months perhaps, and then training on weekends. And also being the coordinator for many activities, being the secretariat, as we're calling it. And finally, Bhoomi Network also, we hope to have 10 to 15 Teach for Nature fellows work with their training and get them to work in selected schools in Bangalore. And the fellows will be supported with a stipend. Many of you would have heard of the Teach for India fellowship. And that itself, I understand, has been based on the Teach for America fellowship, which is something, which is a new input into the world of education, which has made a difference to many, many people, many schools, and so on. So we feel we can learn from them, and yet we are very different because they'll be following the existing syllabus, even if they bring in new things for children to learn. But we would have to do a lot more experiential work, a lot of work that we are learning. This is an area of work, like many others, I would say, that the learning never can stop. So we will support fellows for at least 2 years. Why 2 years? Is because many youngsters may be willing to spend 2 years, for nature, for the country, for education. But we have seen that finally most of the people want to look for a higher paying job. Here, they can be supported with a stipend, which is reasonable enough for them to manage life over 1 or 2 years, 2 years. You know? So that's the role of Bhoomi Network. There are, of course, a lot of little unsaid things, the kind of things that we need to do. But I think if you have any more questions about this, you can ask them and we'll try to get back to you. Yeah. No, before this, Adil, can I ask questions?
Yes, Seetha. So, yes, people can unmute themselves.
Questions, anybody?
Yeah, and ask questions. Yeah.
It would be nice, those who are talking will also, show themselves on the video. Yeah? Because we can't see most people's faces, we cannot see. But at least when you talk, it'll be nice to see your face.
Yes.
Namaskar everyone. This is Yoshika, and I would like to go for fellowship program. So I would like to know that when it will be starting actually, dates and all.
We are having our inauguration program on the 23rd, of January at the BIC. Now, point one, which place are you from? Are you from Bangalore or elsewhere?
Yes, I'm from Bangalore.
Yeah. So if you could come over there, and we don't have every item of the kind of work we're going to do chopped out. But it will be within a few months. It will not be years. And we hope that by the next academic year, by June or July or something, one can, the Teach for Nature fellows can join schools. And it's also because we feel the first term is when the schools are most ready to accept anything new. And we need to start in the first term. And probably at the end of the first term, we will have a national conference on the same theme so that, TFN fellows in different places can also participate in such a conference about the nature of their work, their difficulties, their joys, and so on and so forth.
Thank you.
So do join us at the, at the inauguration.
I think Hetasvi Dholakia has put up a question in the chat box. Hi, I'm an individual based out of Rajkot, Gujarat, and a Rotary member. How can I participate?
Well, I mean, are you part of a school? Yeah.
Hetasvi, you're on mute, so you'll have to unmute yourself.
I'm so sorry. Hi, Seetha. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Chinmay's sister. And
Okay.
yeah, and I participated last year when I came to Bangalore at my brother's place and that 3 days Yuganta event. And I'm right now
Can't hear you.
talking about, and so I was just wondering how can I participate.
We lost you in between.
Yeah, in between.
Is it fine? Am I audible now?
Now,
Okay. So I am based out of Rajkot right now, and I am a Rotary member, and just wondering how can I participate in the moment.
See, at the moment, we are not equipped to take in Teach for Nature fellows from around the country, because ideally in different states, this kind of training should happen near the state, at least region wise, and but however, we are inviting schools from across the country to join in the All Schools Alliance. And we hope that over a period of time, there will be people who will be like nodal points, be it NGOs or individuals who connect schools, who, the content development that happens in the resource hub is shared, and so on. So it depends on what exactly you want to do. Do you want to be a kind of nodal point? Do you want to do some Teach for India, Teach for Nature kind of work? What exactly do you want to do?
So I was just thinking that if I can contact some of the schools with the thought that we are going on, and if they agree, then I can maybe, take it further or something like that.
Yeah, sure. So that is definitely something we would encourage. Although I do not know immediately whether how prepared we are to work, but you can, all the materials we can give you. And you can
Okay.
begin the process of talking to schools, what is
Great.
this all, and also when
Right.
we do the inauguration, somebody has just asked whether we'll do a hybrid mode, online, which may be a little difficult for us now, but we can give various videos, and
Right.
also the written material. So with all of that, we hope that people like you can take it to schools that they know about. And if there are a handful of schools, how to get started.
Right.
And I think we have a Bhoomi fellow somewhere in Rajkot or near Rajkot.
Atal. Atal. We can
Atal.
link you up with her.
So
Oh,
we can link you up with others in that area.
great.
Hopefully some of our Bhoomi fellows working in Bombay or somewhere nearby can visit you and have a meeting of these schools somewhere.
Right. Right.
We'll see how we can support. But
Sure.
the
Absolutely.
support will have to be very, very organically developing. A
Right.
ready-made mode doesn't exist as of now, but we are
Right.
more than happy to connect and do what we can.
Right. So what I was thinking that, let me go to some good, international level schools, and I can present myself as a Rotary member as well. And then, take it forward. If I have something on my hand, I can show them, I can tell them that this is the thought, this is the thing that we are looking at. And
Can't hear you.
Yeah, maybe we've lost
Yeah.
Hithasvi, but we can carry on that follow-up conversation a little later. Maybe if other
Yeah.
people who have questions, they can share. I think a couple of them have asked about the inauguration being shared. What we are doing is we're going to video record the entire inaugural, which will happen on Jan 23rd, and we will share with all of you. We'll do that live streaming. We will just have to check that whether that's possible or not. If it is, we will go ahead and do that as well. What you can do is you can follow our social media channels, Instagram, specifically Instagram, Bhoomi Network, Bhoomi College, and you will get all the updates on how to access the live stream as well. So just wanted to clarify about the live streaming and inauguration. I think Shilpa had a question. Can I be a fellow along with my job? Mostly work from home in Bangalore and just client meetings. I don't think
I don't
that is
think that will be possible because we do want that commitment and engagement. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So we would want a 2-year commitment, and uh, we will offer a stipend. Of course, it won't be. It's not like a salary kind of a thing. So sorry, we can't have that option.
Maybe for a person who is already working, something like what, I forget your name, Hetal, was it?
So this question was from Shilpa.
No, I got it. But
Yeah.
I just spoke to her
Hethasvi.
that she is trying to contact schools. I mean, she's also working, it looks like. Otherwise, she won't be in Rotary. And, meet, Hetasvi is is the name. Like her, you can possibly contact schools. We are really talking about, for some people, it's more a part of a way of life to do something that we can, for this whole cause of, trying to get children more connected with nature and sustainability. So there might be 10 other ways of doing these things, including working with children in your neighborhood, including, organizing little workshops in schools. It may not be full-time as a Teach for Nature fellow, which is a full-time job. We're talking about doing, let's say, 4 or 6 classes in a school. Because our numbers being such in schools, we need that amount of input. But these kind of inputs can also be valuable. Yeah. Rama, anything to add to that?
Yeah, and I'm saying that people like Shilpa, right? Or Shilpa. You could also, come and join us when we have the conference next year, so that you get to meet different people, network with them, and then take it forward in your own way. But the fellowship, like Seetha said, is a 2-year commitment which we want.
Hi everyone. Hi Seetha ma'am. Can you hear me? Because I'm outside in the park.
Yeah, your
Yes,
name?
yes, we can.
Yeah, okay. I'm Shelly. And my son studies at
Okay.
Prakriya, and I'm really excited for the moment and really interested to know more about the fellow. So this webinar is really helpful. Just in addition to what Shilpa asked, I'm also right now working in a full-time job. And I'm also quite curious to know, I understand it will be like a full-time commitment, but would it be like all the 5 working days and also the Saturday for training, just to understand that if I am interested, that how would I have to go about that?
See, we need to know more about what are your, areas of strength, in what ways you want to contribute. So we are more than happy after this inauguration, let's say periodically once a month or maybe more often if it's needed, have meetings, smaller meetings with some of you, and individually we need to see what works for you and what works for us. So there are no, as we said, there are literally 1,000 things to do. And we don't want to over standardize, although some standardizing is needed, So for Teach for Nature fellows, we can standardize a lot of things. These are the things to cover during your sessions with this 5th or 6th or 7th or 8th, whichever class. But for people like you who are working elsewhere and you want to know what to do, maybe we should have other meetings and take it from there. I don't know. Rama, can you think of anything else?
No,
Or
as of now,
Adil, for
because
that matter. Huh?
as of now, we are trying to wrap our heads around the alliance, and so we that many variables we are working with right now. So as of now, I don't know. Maybe like you're saying, smaller group meetings and all is a possibility. But the fellowship itself will be a 2-year commitment, and in that you will need to go to school. So the 5 working days plus this Saturday will be the time to catch up with we are planning every the fellows meet together, have discussions, sharing, and mentorship and workshops are offered. So it will be pretty much full time, with a Sunday off. So um, because I think for it to be rigorous and gather that momentum, we'll need to give it that, because it's not just teaching content, right? It's really looking at it from an experiential angle to really enable children to feel strongly about the issues. Then action happens. So that's where we are right now. So at this point, the fellowship would mean that kind of a commitment. Other kinds of engagements are possible. As of now, we haven't got there. We are right now focusing more on the fellowship. And let's see after that takes a certain momentum and stability, we can look at other engagements. But you're free to maybe our Santes, the farmers market we could have conversations. You could come for that, or
Yeah,
those
no,
kind
absolutely.
of
And
things.
maybe I can just add on to that, because definitely the fellows would be the one who will be working at the front line, working with the schools, but we would need an army of people also supporting at the back end. When we have a movement, we just don't need the Mahatma Gandhi and other people, just doing but
Right, right,
we need the complete support system, and that's where all the champions, even if
right.
for any personal reasons they're not able to commit to that kind of timelines, but even if we are able to create a community of champions, if they can, I mean, help in the resources or help otherwise, uh, I do see that the people having that passion for this moment can create value in other ways also.
Right, right.
Right.
Yeah,
Sure.
I mean, we agree with you totally. Adil, were you saying something?
Yes, Seetha, we just have a couple more questions. So the follow-up conversations will take it later. Is it okay if because we are 3 minutes?
Ahead of time.
Yeah. So I think we have two questions. Narmada had one question, and Kirtana. Narmada, would you like to go ahead and ask a question?
Yeah, just quickly checking if there is a plan. I know there are very few schools involved right now, but is there a plan on how to market this whole program to schools so that more and more schools get into this program and are part of the alliance? That is one. And other thing, what I wanted to check is a TFN fellow 2-month program is what we are talking about, the training and mentoring program at Prakriya. So after
At
this,
Bhoomi.
at Bhoomi.
Bhoomi.
Okay, sorry. And after that, would they be assigned some particular school where they will go and teach for nature, or would it be like a few days they'll be working at one school and few days it'll be a different school? And how many hours in a day are we looking at for the fellowship program? I know most of these will be answered in the the event on 23rd, but just wanted to get a quick doubt here.
We are thinking that the Teach for India, I mean, Teach for Nature Fellowship will be a full-time activity.
Okay.
And it's like any other full-time job, maybe 7 hours or 8 hours it will involve, and it will not be going from school to school. Ideally, it's good if people are placed in schools near where they live, and so that we don't spend too much time in
Moving
transportation.
Bangalore traffic.
Yeah, so Bhoomi Network will try to do the coordination. And about the other question about marketing, which is also ties up with what, to some extent, with what Shelley was asking, is that maybe we need to work with another group of people, which we are doing now informally, but more formally, it would be good to have a group of coordinators, or and we can't have the word marketers, it doesn't quite go with this, but people who are coordinating between, the resources offered and the schools, kind of a thing. So that we should work on more actively to make. Right now, it's the Bhoomi people from the Bhoomi team themselves who are going around. Plus, there are people who are Bhoomi fellows and Prakriya teachers and many others who are spreading the word. But we need more and more people. I can't agree with you more. So
yeah, because from what I see, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, we make a kit or a set of things available to coordinators, and perhaps periodic meetings, whether it is Zoom or in-person meetings. We should, I was just thinking again, talking about we talked about Rotary, right? Like, look at the way various businesses and professions create their alliance. They make it almost a club, but they also get their network, they get their work done, and so on. People who are interested in sustainability also need such a space. Because we need to foster each other as being part of this community, especially because outside those people who are convinced, there are many who sneer at such work also. So we need to understand work with each other a lot more. So I think we'll make that happen. A group of coordinators come together either through Zoom or in person to continue to market this kind of a thing. And it's not going to be a for-profit activity. So I feel there are many will come in to help.
Right. I actually said market because schools need to see what they get from, because it will be a good thing for them. It'll be something added to them, their marketing strategy also, because we are doing this as a part of climate and nature action, and so they'll also look at it with a kind of welcoming feeling. Yeah.
True. I mean, I agree with that. I was just talking about marketing as in it's not like corporate marketing, but it's our own kind of marketing which is needed, of spreading the word or whatever. Yeah.
It's wonderful to see the energy. I think even in the chat box, I can see many ways in which people want to contribute. Just wanted to let everyone know that we have a CAN volunteer climate action and nature volunteer group. It was primarily made for the event, but I think it makes sense to continue that after the event as well. We can have meetings at Bhoomi where all these ideas from different people, we can take them together and see how we can all contribute. If not through Teach for Nature Fellowship, how can people as volunteers contribute? And I think we'll do that. We had a couple of questions that we'll be able to take. After that, I think we'll have to close. One was Kirtana's about, is this just about existing schools, or is there scope for partnership in case there are plans to set up a new school? As of now, I think we'll be working with existing schools, but maybe in the future we'll look at other kind of collaborations. And yeah, I think if any of you have not registered for our Jan 23rd inaugural event, I've shared the registration link in the chat box. You can register for the event. Like I said, you can also follow our social media channels on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's either Bhoomi College or Bhoomi Network. And we hope to see you there at the event. I think once the event happens, we hope to take all this energy and put it into keeping the alliance, kickstarting the alliance. So yeah, just wanted to make sure the marketing aspect is done. But yeah, Seetha and Rema, last words. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd just like to get back to what I think Kirtana said about, does it apply to new schools? I mean, I don't see, if there is no school, how we can, have these kind of classes for children. But if it's a matter of getting ideas for how to set up a school, I would suggest that, yes, please get in touch with us. And one of us may be able to spend some time talking to you about what it involves to have a school that is more sensitive to have a green school. As most of you know, that we are also part of Prakriya Green Wisdom School, and we can do what we can to support you. And I think recently we've also brought out a book called Education in Tune with Nature. There are many other such books also. So maybe multiple ways we can try to put you in touch with how it can help if you want to start a school. That's what I understood, the existing school versus new schools to be started. So that's also a possibility. It's not that we are saying we have nothing to do with, because we have to work in multiple ways. So we will be okay to have a chat with you.
I'll also
More than that, I don't know what we can do. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll also like to put a rider. We have too many things on our plate as of now, even the alliance. So yeah, we are open to having conversations, but as of now, with too many possibilities, it may not be easy for us to work. Though it's very nice to see the energy, but we'll also have to say where we'll have to draw the line, because we'll have to work with the fellows, and if we have this coordinators group, multiple possibilities. Seetha is always optimistic.
I'm just talking about a chat or two, Rama, which I'm willing to do. I'm not
Right.
taking
No,
on because see, setting up a school is a very major time
absolutely.
commitment for each person. That
Right.
person has to do. We cannot do it.
Right,
But we
right.
can share, and not
Yeah.
like a formal or a workshop or something, but just a little bit of open sharing, which we do anyway with people who come to
Right.
us.
No, I'm just
Yeah.
trying to say that we are also, this alliance itself will take a lot of time, even though we are having a steering committee. I'm just wearing the black hat. I'm not, I mean, I'm glad if more and more people are inspired to, work with schools with that focus. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to this 23rd event where many more schools who are um, in schools, individuals, we have people who have worked in the field of nature and, like naturalists, and many people are coming together. So it would be really nice for all of us to meet face to face and um, see how we can make this alliance happen. The energy and the intent seems, the the right note, if I can say. So let's see how we can take it forward. I'm looking forward to the event personally.
So last words from me. I like to share this quote, which I'm very fond of. Unfortunately, I could not find out who's the author of this, but it goes something like this: that the kind of the problems and that exist today are so huge and so widespread that we cannot hope that they'll get solved from on high, from the powers that be. But millions of us have to, with exuberance, join in and be part of the solution. And to that extent, I am thankful for all of you to have come in for this webinar. Let's meet again in multiple ways, or you all meet each other in different ways. And we hope that over a period of time, this will be a really growing network. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. And one, Seetha brought in a quote. I also am inspired to share a quote. I think it's Dalai Lama who said it, that perhaps the new Buddha is a Sangha. So what we're really trying to do in this alliance is create the Sangha to lead towards a more earth-wise way of living. So I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you,
Thank
Seetha
you.
and Rama. I unfortunately
Thank you.
don't have a quote, but I just have some marketing inputs. 23rd January at BIC, Bangalore International Center, 4:30 to 7:30. The registration link is in the chat box. Please do come to the event, and if you know educators, people working in schools and working with climate action, do let them know about the event as well. All right. See you on
Thank
23rd.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.